Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to Sunday Night Live with your hosts, Jennifer Maynard.
What's up?
With Healthier, Happier You, and myself with 3 Life Essentials. We are still missing our beloved Melissa, who is traveling the country right now, actually. I think she's somewhere probably in the Pacific.
We're live.
Yay. I think she's probably in the Pacific time zone somewhere. And Jennifer and I are in the same time zone right now. We're not in the same state, but we are in both in states that start with T.
There we go. We're in the same time. Progress.
Yes. So welcome to all of you. Thank you guys for joining us. And those of you who are watching on the replay, you are definitely going to want to stick around tonight because we have got some really juicy, actually, pun intended, really juicy oils to talk about tonight, right?
I see what you did there, Amy.
You see what I did there? And you were just saying, as we were looking at all of these, so tonight is brought to you by the letter L, but then there is a K in there. There's a K and L.
Yes.
But when we were looking at these as a whole, what was it you said, Jennifer?
I said that we've got some oils tonight that are great for people that are struggling with just their, number one, their mental focus, or feeling beat down by things in life, or not really understanding how they move past things, trying to get rid of limiting beliefs. So like, if we were researching for tonight, I was so excited because I'm like, oh, okay, this is my wheelhouse. I love some of these. And some of these are oils that really even Amy and I are learning about as we go, because they're not ones that we see all the time. They're not the old faithful. There's a lot of new ones in here too. So it's really cool.
Yes. And so, so we're excited to be on here with you guys tonight because we're going to be talking about help for those who maybe you're klutzes in the kitchen, or maybe you don't want to admit that you are, but maybe you need to have some things on hand in the kitchen that you have not had on hand. And we're going to be talking about chapped lips. No more. I will say I have not had chapped lips recently because I've been in some humid places, but anybody living on the western side of the US, you need this for sure all the time. So we're going to be talking about chapped lips, no more, and some options there. And we're going to be talking about how to get your mojo back, bringing that zest for life back in your life. And so we're going to be talking about all those kinds of things. We're going to be talking about this little beauty here, kumquat, and lemon myrtle. These are tiny powerhouses. We're going to be talking about our beloved lemon and lavender, and we're going to be talking about Litsea. I'm not trying to put these here. Okay, Litsea and lime and lemongrass. So, hey, Tara, good to see you on here with us tonight. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so we want to know, what do you want to know most about these oils? Now we pulled inside our, actually, before I get to that, actually, I forgot. We have a gift for those of you who are joining us in the beginning. So, Tara, you are going to be a winner tonight because we've got 2 diffuser blends that you can use with a lot of the oils that we're going to be talking about tonight. So, so let me pull those up for you.
I'm excited about these.
Yes. Okay. This first blend here may crack you up a little bit. This is, let me find my diffuser blend that I'm going to share with you. Maybe.
Maybe. How many tabs do you have open, Amy?
A lot today. I have a lot open. Okay, look at this blend, you guys. It's our Fruit Loops blend.
Fruit Loop.
I actually have it diffusing right here in front of me. So if you have smell-o-vision, you can like get oh, and it just stopped on me.
Of course it did. Okay, so for those of us that don't have smell-o-vision,
yes.
does it smell like Fruit Loops?
Well, because I would say it doesn't smell like Fruit Loops per se, but it's very fruity.
Oh, nice.
Obviously, because so you've got kumquat, you've got your Litsea in there, which is a fruit. I don't really understand exactly what kind of fruit because it's not native to here.
Right.
It's native more to like the Asian areas. So those of you who lived in those areas, maybe you can enlighten us a little bit more on the Litsea fruit. But Litsea and then kumquat, which are those, those teeny tiny little, look like little oranges, and grapefruit and lemon. And I will tell you, it is very mood lifting. If you are in a funk, you definitely, if you want to get out of that funk, diffuse this Fruit Loops blend. So so get a screenshot of this one, and that's a gift for you. And then we have a second one for you tonight, and
wait, there's more.
Yes, this is an anthropology blend. Now I have to give a caveat to this, that I have not tried this one personally. And so I plan on trying it tomorrow because I'm very intrigued by this. Those of you who have seen and love anthropology, there's another diffuser blend that's kind of going around that I love, and it's nothing like these oils. So I'm very intrigued by whoever came up with this blend. But it includes your lime, which we're going to talk about tonight, and the lemon myrtle as well. So very intrigued by this. So go ahead and screenshot this. Put in the comments below if you love anthropology. Just, well, if you can't spell anthropology, just say I love that A store. Because it smells amazing in there. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing. That was just for those of you who are joining us at the beginning. And but we polled inside our customer group as well. So go ahead and keep putting in the comments what you want to know most about these oils, or maybe you're like, what is kumquat? So just put that in the comments. But we polled inside our group, and here were some of the top responses from people. People said, is there just one oil that does it all? And the answer is, yeah, kind of. And so we're going to talk about that tonight.
Pretty close to everything.
Yeah. Yes. And then another top one was, I have chapped lips. What are my options? So we're going to talk about that tonight. And help my kids get markers and stickers everywhere they're not supposed to be. So we're going to talk about some options there with that. And then the last two is, I've battled, or I think I'm battling Candida. How can I know for sure? And where can I start for help? So we're going to talk about that one, and then talking about being a klutz in the kitchen and what we need to have on hand. So
I'm not a klutz in the kitchen at all.
No, of course not. Oh, Tara, you said you text your anthropology friend asking if I have scorpions, and she said they are earwigs. Never heard of those. Oh, anthropology. Yes, like the bug.
Oh,
is that what you mean? Yes, I've heard of earwigs. They do look a little bit like scorpions, but no, they're tinier. Yes, anthropology, the store, is that diffuser blend that I think a lot of people love, that it's going to smell like. But okay, so let's dive in. Are we ready to dive in?
Of course.
So what's the one oil that kind of does it all? Well, first of all, just to kind of give you a glimpse, I was doing some research earlier today, and I have an app that I love. It's the Modern Essentials Plus app. If you don't have it, you definitely want to consider getting it. It's a paid app, but it's like literally having a reference book on hand. And sometimes I will look up some oils, for instance, like black pepper, and this is all it has on it. It's got like one little thing that talks about primary uses, and just like one thing. But then I pull up oils like lavender, and I get all of these primary uses.
Many.
I'm still going. Like
so many.
So this is why lavender, and then also lavender touch, which is a pre-diluted lavender that you can buy ready to use, is why this is one of the top 10 most popular oils that people buy. It's probably the one that also that you're most familiar with. I will have to say though, even if I was not partnered with doTERRA, there is a difference. I'm noticing there is a difference in the quality of oils. So you cannot go to the dollar store, even online or wherever, Best Buy, Costco,
Walmart, Best Buy, drugstore, none of them.
You cannot go and get lavender at those places, you guys, and expect to get these results. You just won't.
No.
And I'm being honest, this is not a sales pitch. This is actually from personal experience as well. In the past, I'd used other oils too, and you will not get these benefits. No. So we're going to talk about, there's a reason why people call this kind of the Swiss Army knife of oils, because it really can be used for a multitude of different things. As a general rule, this is really helpful for all things calming. So think about calming to your skin, so when you're having like irritations with the skin, or rashes or blemishes, those kinds of things, or burns, those kinds of things. Very calming to the skin, but also calming to the central nervous system too, which makes it great for calming down at night, or calming down when you're anxious about something, or agitated or kind of worked up about something. And I love having the lavender touch on hand, because you never know when you just need to like quickly calm an irritation, or calm down a child, or whatever it is.
Or you're a klutz in the kitchen and you need something quickly. I'm not saying I know this from personal experience. I'm just saying it's very possible that this is a really good one for you to keep on your kitchen counter.
Yes. In fact, the lavender, maybe putting it in a roller bottle, or just setting it like next to the kitchen sink or next to the stove, having it on hand is truly helpful. I just had a boy yesterday in my house who touched a pot and didn't realize that it was on, and we immediately ran cold water and then had our lavender right there on hand. Now, I live in a fifth wheel, so everything is accessible pretty easily. But if I were when I'm in a house, I put my oils like wherever I'm going to need them. So I may have an extra bottle of lavender in the kitchen, because or slicing something and you're a klutz in the kitchen, you want to be able to put that lavender on there to kind of soothe the irritation. It acts as kind of like a natural analgesic as well. You want to use your other oils also to help with the healing process in that, but it's a great go-to, especially if you're a klutz in the kitchen too. So,
and if you burn the dinner and you're super upset about it, you can use it from that standpoint too. So it calms all the things. It calms your skin, it calms your emotions, it calms everything.
Yes. So those of you who are watching, since there's so many uses for lavender, I want you to put in the comments, what is your favorite way to use lavender? Because I know everybody has different ways that they use it. And then, so why don't you tell us, is there anything else you want to add to that, Jennifer, about lavender?
So I would say, okay, so me being emotions girl, right? So the first thing I do is I pull out the emotions book and I start reading about it. And you're not going to be surprised by this. It's the oil of communication and calm. Okay. So here's what it says. People that need lavender need it because it helps to calm the insecurities that are felt when one risks their true thoughts and feelings. So if there's something that you want to say that you're having a hard time saying, lavender is an oil for you. It says that lavender addresses a deep fear of being seen and heard, okay? And then individuals that need lavender hide within, blocking their true self-expression. While they may be going through the motions of outward expression, they are actually holding back their innermost thoughts and feelings. And this is not connected to the heart or the soul. So what it does emotionally for us is it helps us to connect with what's going on in our heart, right? And then being able to talk about it in a way where we feel safe and we don't feel like we're going to be judged for it. And we feel bold enough that we're actually able to say sometimes the hard things that we need to.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that oil speaks to me too as a speech pathologist, because as the oil of communication, I find such value in communication as a whole, and all the components of it, with our body language and how we're speaking, we're listening, our tone. But I remember my one of our twins, when I can't remember, I want to say he was around 3. And I remember learning about this being the oil of communication, and he was having trouble just kind of expressing. He's even though he's a twin, he's kind of the baby of the family, and just kind of that feeling of being able to express himself in a healthy way. And I remember giving this to him and helping him put it on his throat, and just giving him a model. I was modeling examples to him of ways that he could verbalize how he was feeling about things. And so I love that. I love that about this oil, that's just another way that we can use it.
Yep.
So I love that. Roxanne, you said it's the most common one you use, and you diffuse it at nighttime and roll it on when you drive. I love that.
That's a great.
Except for those people who get really sleepy with lavender, that may not work so well.
Don't do that if you're that person. Please don't.
Yes. Okay, so let's talk about chapped lips. Okay. So I used to use all kinds of different chapped lips kinds of things. And those of you who want to be a little bit more aware about what you're putting on your skin and how that impacts it, why not consider using something with your oils that are made with avocado oil, some safe ingredients that aren't going to be toxic on your body, number one, or disrupt your system. And I love this because with doTERRA's lip balms, for chapstick, you have 3 different options. So you can get these in a pack of 3, or you can purchase them individually if you have one that's a favorite. So do you have one that's a favorite, Jennifer?
I do. I love the tropical one.
Oh,
so the orange one in the middle, that's my favorite.
Okay. I like them all, but okay. So the first one, this is the original kind of formulation, and they all have the same base of avocado oil and moringa oil, but then your kind of options come in when it has the essential oils added in. So this one is the original blend that has wild orange and peppermint.
Yes.
I like this one because it has that kind of mintiness that you might be more used to when it comes to chapsticks. I like these also because they're not very drying, and they have a nice sheen to them, but they're not, I've used chapsticks before that are like extra greasy, or they're like really dry and like crumbly to put on. And I feel like these are like a nice balance of in between. They're not too of that greasy, oily, but they're not like that dry and crumbly. They're just a nice sheen. And so if you're not a lipstick girl, and this is for guys too. My husband uses this all the time, but if you're not a lipstick girl, this is a great option for you to have options during the day. Okay, and the next one, this one's Jennifer's favorite. This one's the tropical blend. Again, same base, but this one has ylang ylang, clementine, and lime. So we're going to talk about lime today. So this one's very kind of more your fruity type of lip balm. And then the last one is the herbal lip balm. And actually, this one's my favorite.
I do really like the herbal one too. Right now, I'm kind of in the fruity phase, I guess, which is very convenient for tonight. But I love the herbal one. And I find that more like in the fall and the winter is when I want the herbal one.
Well, it's interesting because when you read off the oils, this one has lemon verbena, marjoram, and spearmint in it. And when I read those, I was kind of like, I don't know how that's going to be. But then when I smelled it and put it on, I was like, oh, I like this. So if you like spearmint, it's very spearminty. So not peppermint like the other one, but if it's very spearminty. So if you like spearmint, you'll like kind of more the herbal one too. I think it kind of smells spearminty. So,
Yep.
so I love those. Those are great options with nice, healthy fatty acids and no harmful ingredients for you to keep your lips moist. And these are great stocking stuffers. I mean, I know we're not near stocking stuffer time, but these are also really great to keep on hand for like little gifts for friends and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, so what about help my kids get markers and stickers everywhere? Does anybody have that issue? Maybe if you don't even have kids, maybe you're like, help, I get stickers everywhere. Or like when you buy your new stuff and it's got stickers on it and you can't get it off and it's so annoying.
Or when you reuse, because you buy bone broth like in a jar and you love keeping the mason jars because you have a mason jar problem and you're trying to get the sticky labels off and the sticky labels don't want to come off. Not that I know anything about this, I don't. But
or if you reuse kombucha bottles, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes.
And the oil is lemon.
Yeah, you guys, lemon is a little like lavender. It's got a ton of uses, which is another reason why this is one of the top 10 most popular purchased oils by people. Again, you cannot get this anywhere. You will not have the same results. It's just the facts. When you focus on sourcing and when you focus on purity in essential oils, doTERRA is leagues beyond what any other oil company is doing. And so lemon, not only can you put a few drops on and let it sit to get markers, even Sharpie, you guys, even Sharpie, Sharpie markers, stickers off of stuff. But it's also, I mean, you guys know it's very cleansing to the body. So think of this as like your all cleaner. I put this in my homemade cleaning solutions. I put this in my water right now. Cleansing to the liver. So think of this as all thing cleansing. So when we talk about lavender being all things calming, think of lemon being like all things cleansing. Cleansing to the inside of the body, cleansing to the outside in your home. And I love this oil. It's also just mood lifting. And if you're just joining us live, you want to go back to the beginning and get the Fruit Loops diffuser blend that has the lemon in it, to just give you some mood lifting. But I know you have more to share about this oil too.
I do. So you guys, lemon is the oil of focus. So if you have a kiddo that is struggling in school, or you are dealing with mental fatigue, you feel just mentally wiped out, you have brain fog, you're trying to study, you're trying to read, and you can't really focus, lemon is the oil for you. It is really great for that. But here's what I love about it too, is that it helps with learning issues. So when somebody has a hard time concentrating, or they don't feel like they're even capable of learning, it says lemon clears self-judgments such as I am dumb or I'm not a good student.
Wow.
If you have a kiddo that struggles, I mean, I have a kiddo that has struggled for a long time, right? And I have many, many friends who have kids that struggle. And so lemon is the oil for you. Diffuse it while they're working on homework, or if they're homeschooled while they're doing their homeschool stuff, just have lemon going.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that because I just now remember the author of The Oil Experiment, and her name is escaping me right now.
Michelle Rocker.
Yes, I remember she has worked with so many. She is a parent of 2 children with special needs herself, and she has worked with many people who have children with different challenges and special needs. And I remember her saying at one time that lemon was one of the most commonly, how do I say it? Like most of the kids that she encountered, that was the oil they were drawn most to.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
And now we know why.
Yeah.
You know, because it helps you to go. And I mean, you know, I was a kid who struggled, and it really, quite honestly, I think I probably had some focus issues. I think that I would get bored in school, but then sometimes I just wouldn't apply myself. And so I went through those feelings of that. And I wish that we would have known about essential oils back then, and that I would have had those available to me. So you guys have such cool tools available to you every single day in the most common places, the most common oils that we have, right?
Yes, yes. So those, I know many of you love your lemon as well. So put in the comments below, what is your favorite way to use lemon? Because I know we just scratched the surface with the lemon and the lavender, you guys. I pulled up again, just this one is my lemon that I pulled up on my oil app, and here's all the uses for this one too. So it goes on and on and on as well. Yes. So we just scratched the surface with that. But let's talk about yeast for just a minute. You know, many of us have either battled, or we think that we're battling, or wonder about battling candida. You guys familiar with that term? So candida is a yeast overgrowth in the body. Now, we all have yeast in our body. It's something we're born with, but many of us have a yeast overgrowth. And that's for many reasons. Some of it's from the foods that we're eating, or the medications that we've been exposed to. There's lots of different ways that we can get a yeast overgrowth, but some would say that we have, that about 80% of the population has an overgrowth of this in their body somewhere. Now, this does not necessarily mean that you have continuous infections down in your like glory areas. This can be this can really be
you put that.
These can be anywhere in your body. Okay, so you can have candida anywhere in your body, and some people have seen it coming out in their skin. It can be attached to different organs and things. So if you're wondering if you're battling this, or you have battled this, or you know someone who has, here's how you can know for sure. We're going to give you, I want you to put in the comments candida. And if you want a simple, I'm going to give you a simple screening tool that you can use to, it doesn't tell you for sure whether or not you have it, but it can give you an idea about whether or not maybe you should talk further with a healthcare professional about that.
And quite honestly, the number of people who deal with candida is so high, there's a really good chance that you are battling it in some form or fashion. And it is horrible. It sticks inside your body and doesn't want to leave. Like, it leeches on, and it can be a really tough thing to deal with. And you don't realize just how bad a candida overgrowth can be. And we keep talking about the same types of things, but brain function, it's huge in brain function. Mysterious little skin bumps and things like that that come up, and you have no other way to describe or explain what's happening, could be candida overgrowth in your body. Everything that goes on in our bodies, you guys, starts in our gut.
Yeah. Well, I for one have dealt with this in the past, and I know my mom has, and I know many people that we've worked with have battled it or are battling it. But I want to say there is hope. And usually when I work with people who are dealing with this, we set up kind of a 3-month, what I call a battle plan, a game plan, a battle plan of about 3 months, because it can take that long to really begin to make a good headway with it. But it's totally doable. And not only that, you can feel like a totally different person after getting rid of it. So if you want to know that screening tool, put in the comments candida, and I'll give you that screening tool, the link to that. And then where do you start if you are battling it? Well, number one is you want to start with a cleanse. You've got to kill it. You have to kill it. And it thrives on sugar, unfortunately. So You have to kill it. And one of the ways that you can do it is by doing a yeast-free diet. And you can look up online how to do that. But what I usually recommend to people is doing the Whole30, because that's basically a yeast-free diet. And there's a lot of resources out there to support you in doing that. And so if you can do Whole30, that will give a good start to getting rid of the candida, but also doing doTERRA's cleanse. And then there are several oils that can support. Now, we're going to talk about just 2 oils tonight that can support this. And they may have been ones that you may have not thought of before. And that is kumquat and lemon myrtle. Both of these are powerhouses when it comes to yeast overgrowth in the body. Now, and these are oils that both of these, if I remember correctly, I'm not sure. Let me now let me see about lemon myrtle. Is lemon myrtle one? Okay, so lemon myrtle is aromatic and topical use only. So this one you would want to use in the diffuser or topically, like on your feet or on your abdomen area. The kumquat, you could use in a capsule, or you could put it in your drinking water throughout the day. But so kumquat is interesting. It has a lot of health benefits. Now, it is a citrus, so it is photosensitive. So if you're going to be using it topically, you're going to use it where you're not going to want to use it where you're going to be exposed to the sun. And that goes also with your lemon that we just talked about too.
Absolutely.
But this is interesting how it interacts with the human cells, because it has been shown to strengthen cells when they come in contact with certain bacterial strains, and especially resistant ones.
Wow.
Which makes sense why this would also be helpful when there is a yeast happening in the body that's an overgrowth, because yeast is like it's a little troublesome booger that doesn't want to go. And so it's showing great effectiveness with that. And those of us who embrace the essential oil lifestyle, this oil can be helpful in reducing and even eliminating that overgrowth in your digestive tract. Now, this also is very high in antioxidants. It's not near as close to something like clove, which is like the highest antioxidants, but it's still very high, which means that it's also very helpful for just supporting your overall health. So I love the kumquat, and I know you have something else you wanted to share about kumquat too, don't you?
I do. Okay, so you guys, it's so funny to hear Amy sit here and talk about the physical properties of the oils, and then to talk about the emotional side of it, because just like it helps us to get rid of gunk in our bodies, it helps us to get rid of gunk in our minds too. Okay, so
I love how it always ties together.
I know, I love it. Like, it's like the more I dive into it, the more excited I get about it. So kumquat is the oil of authentic presence. So people that need kumquat tend to judge and push down feelings deemed unacceptable or unwanted. Often they've been taught to repress those feelings. And what kumquat does is it actually helps us to get those feelings out and deal with them. Okay, so what it says is that these personalities appear happy, enthusiastic, popular, and seemingly at peace in the world, while their inner torment is meticulously guarded and hidden from view. However, a denial, avoidance of emotional pain, and fear of negative emotions can lead to destructive coping strategies and passive aggressiveness in order to continue keeping up the chosen facade. So emotionally, we feel that, oh, it's not okay for me to have this thought. And so then we're trying to squash it down. And it does more damage than it does good. So just like we're talking about, kumquat's really great for getting rid of things that leech onto you and don't want to leave. Your emotions can be the same way. The things that you have trained your brain to think function in that same way. And this is an oil that can help you through that.
I love that. Well, so we kind of going back to this yeast overgrowth in the body. We talked about the kumquat, and then I also mentioned the lemon myrtle, also being helpful for that. Now you may be like, lemon myrtle, I don't know about that one. Now you may not have this one. This oil was actually only made available um, to those who attended this past year's doTERRA convention because it was only available in limited quantities. So if you wanting to get your hands on lemon myrtle, you might be able to go on a Facebook group called DT Trading Post, and you might be able to trade out some oils for someone who might have it available. Or you can attend this year's doTERRA convention and they might have it available to you there. Or you can check and see on any of the Facebook groups, maybe our private customer group, and see if someone has it available. So lemon myrtle is interesting because this oil is actually leaves from the lemon myrtle tree. And a lot of people say it is more lemony than lemon. And I would have to agree. It is more lemony than your lemon oil.
Which I didn't think was possible because our lemon oil is so, like, I smell our lemon and I'm just like, oh, right?
Yes.
Lemon myrtle actually smells more lemony than lemon.
Yes. So this oil makes it great for adding to cleaning as well. So think about how you maybe have used your lemon in cleaning. The lemon myrtle is helpful in that too. So you can use that if you want more of a lemony, if you like that extra lemony scent whenever you're cleaning. But you guys, you know that your oils are not just great for scent smelling. This oil is a powerhouse, you guys. So we mentioned kumquat being able to interact with the human cells. This one does the same thing. Think about those resistant strains. I can't like name them here, but think about those resistant strains. This can help fight that, and as well as the yeast overgrowth. So, so your kumquat and your Litsea are both powerhouses when it comes to both of those kinds of things. Mm-hmm. So not only is the kumquat citrusy and the lemon myrtle citrusy and mood lifting, but also powerhouses when it comes to those things. So these are not your average just smell good fragrances, you guys. These are medicine cabinet worthy for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, what else do you want to say about lemon myrtle? Anything else you want to say, Jennifer?
Yeah. Okay, so lemon myrtle is the oil of clarification. So isn't it funny after you hear Amy talk about what you use lemon myrtle for, and then it says, oh yeah, it's the oil of clarification. So it helps us to get rid of toxicity that's been acquired through like group thought or just negative thoughts that you have latched onto because you've heard them somewhere. It's for people that have a hard time thinking clearly, and it helps to get rid of negative influences and unwelcome intrusions. And so when I was reading this earlier and Amy and I were talking about it, I was like, why have I not been using lemon myrtle? Like we've had it for months. And I'm like, why am I just now figuring this out? Good grief. But it says, you know, people get lost. They mentally shut down. They're not thinking clearly. This oil acts as a purgative to clear and dispel negative influences and unwelcome intrusions, right? So it's like, it's just getting rid of the things that have just kind of taken up residence there for you. So just like it's doing for you physically, it's doing again for you emotionally as well.
Yeah. I love that. Well, stick around with us because we only have 3 more oils left to go. And the last one I feel like is like the biggest one of all. The biggest one of all. Okay. So we're going to talk about, what are we going to talk about?
Litsea. Let's talk about Litsea.
Yes. So let's talk about Litsea. Now, this is an oil that was kind of limited time. So some of you may have this one. You cannot get this one right now unless you are in the, I think the New Zealand, Australian market. So if you live in that area or you know someone who can access that, then you could probably get access to this Litsea. You might be able to also get it on that doTERRA trading post that I mentioned to you.
I will tell you though, those of us in the US that have Litsea are hoarding it like crazy people right now because it's so good.
Yes, yes. So Litsea, I want to pull this up for just a minute because now Litsea is also very cleansing. This is a fruit as well. And think about this. This is actually one that I actually put on my wool dryer balls when I'm drying my clothes.
Ooh.
Yes, it's a very cleansing aroma as well. Some say that it smells similar to lemongrass, but I know my husband doesn't like the smell of lemongrass, and he actually likes Litsea. So
I love the way Litsea smells,
but it's
and
very
I
clean
describe it as
smelling.
lemongrass either.
Yeah, well, Litsea is very clean. It's a very clean smell. But so think about this with regards to your cleaning as well. So if you're not a lemony person and you want something different, a different aroma for like your cleaning, this is a powerful cleansing agent as well, which is why this oil was actually added to our DDR Prime Cellular Health Blend. So think about that. So when we're talking about repairing DNA, repairing cells, and this oil was added to that blend. So it's a powerhouse. But this one is very great for different, any kind of like infections that you may have. And this one can be used all three ways, aromatically, topically, and internally as well. So I like that oil. And what is it you've found with Litsea, Jennifer?
Okay, so you guys, I underlined in my book. Can you see my page here? See everything I've underlined. This is ridiculous. Okay, so Litsea is the oil of manifestation. Okay, bear with me because sometimes people hear the word manifestation, they go, oh, but bear with me. Okay. So it is very helpful in encouraging individuals to follow through on their inspiration and their prompting. So maybe you've wanted to do something for a really long time and you just haven't quite felt inspired enough to go do it. Litsea is the one that you need. It invites individuals to have the confidence to act on the information given and to trust in wisdom that may be beyond their current understanding. So for me, the way I see that sometimes is, God starts to reveal things to me and I'm like, but wait, I'm not ready for that yet, right? Litsea is one that I can use when that's going on that will help me go, okay, God, you know what? I know you know what you're doing here. Obviously, you're God. I'm not. So let's go do this, right? And so it helps in that way. It says that it instills courage to face the fear that comes immediately after inspiration. So you know how you get super crazy excited about something and then you immediately proceed to talk yourself out of it. Like I should go do the big scary thing. And then you're like, no, I couldn't do that. I'm not good enough. I'm not whatever enough, right? This is the one you need. Okay. So it says that it reminds individuals that it takes a leap of faith into the unknown in order to manifest what has been previously unrealized. One has to learn to trust their inner voice and rise above fear of rejection, being misunderstood, or the need for external confirmation. So you don't have to wait for somebody to tell you, hey, it's okay, go do this thing, right? It grants you the permission to go, no, I know I'm supposed to go do this.
Yeah.
Right? So like, I don't know. I feel like the visual in my mind is like Wonder Woman, like big bad Wonder Woman, like current Wonder Woman, when she's getting ready to go duke it out with everybody and she's just in that powerhouse stance. That's what I think of when I think of Litsea.
Well, and it's interesting that you talked about that because we've been having conversations with people all over the country, literally all over the country, who have just had this stirring and this unsettling in their hearts, and know that God is inviting them to do something different. But there's this hesitation because either they're asking all the what ifs, or they're saying all the things aren't in place yet. And and it's interesting because we've been having conversations with people who are saying, I just needed to take that next step that God was leading me to. Now, maybe it's not like what we were doing where you sell your house and go on the move, but maybe it is. And for some people, in fact, probably I've met probably 10 or 20 other families that for some people, God was inviting them to do that. And but there's this stirring that people are saying there's something more that God's wanting me to do. And this is like a season. I feel like this spring, spring is a time of such of new beginnings that God does in people. And I feel like he's stirring up these new beginnings in people. And so Litzia may be just what you need as you pray through that with God and work through that with God to give you that confidence to take that next step of faith into what God's calling you to do.
And, not that we're trying to, jump on this bandwagon for too long, but I think it's really important to say this. So this morning I was volunteering at our church, and I was working with one of the kiddos that's on the spectrum. And so he's in 3rd grade, and their lesson today was on Judges 6. And it was about Gideon, and how Gideon knew that he was being called by God to go do the thing, but he kept going, well, wait, can you confirm that for me again? So if I pray and I ask you I'm going to put this cloth down. So can you make the cloth wet, but keep the ground dry, right? So God did that. And then the next day he's like, okay, well, can you do that in reverse? So can you make the ground wet, but keep the cloth dry? And God did that too, right? But it was like Gideon needed Litzia in his life to go, oh, okay, here I go, right? So anyway, It struck me when you were talking about that. I was like, this ties back to this morning. So yeah, right. And I think that message is coming up more and more. And I think that people are feeling called to go do the thing, even if it's a little scary. And when you do that, Litzia is one that you need. And that, my friends, is why I'm hoarding it like a crazy person right now, because I love it.
Yes. Okay, our last 2 oils. Now, put in the comments below if that spoke to you, if you learned something new about Litzia, or what's kind of your biggest takeaway with some of these unknowns oils. We want to hear from you about that. Okay, so lime. Now, lime is now it has different chemical properties than lemon, but all of these citrus oils, kumquat, lemon, Litzia, lime, they all have similar properties like limonene, but they all have some things that kind of set them apart, that do some different things. And lime is one of those that, number one, if you prefer if you prefer lime in your water as opposed to lemon, go for it. Because I love lime in my water. Now it's not going to have quite the same cleansing effects that lemon will in your water, but they do have some similar properties. Yes, they're all the citrus oils are mood lifters. But lime, also can be helpful for when you've got that added like congestion that you're trying to cough up and get loose. I love adding lime over breathe on your chest. Really kind of helps like break that gunk up. So I like using lime for that. I also like using lime for helping reducing like fevers and things within the body. Now, it's photosensitive, so again, you don't want to be putting this topically where you might be spending time in the sun, but putting it like up the spine or on the feet for fever is great. And I love having it in my water just also for that cleansing effect too. Do you have anything else you want to share about lime?
Yeah, so just very quickly, lime is the oil that creates a zest for life, okay? So if you are somebody who has been weighed down by maybe a lot of grief or a lot of discouragement, it helps to instill courage and cheer in the heart and reminds people to be grateful for the gift of life. And so really, I mean, there's way more that I could say about it, but it helps to create room in your heart when it's been so weighed down for joy and for, you know, content and for peace to come back in.
Yeah. I love that.
Yep.
Well, I know we've gone long tonight, but you do not want to miss out on us talking about lemongrass, because lemongrass, I feel like I told Jennifer earlier today that this is like the dark horse, because lemongrass, you know, you all know and love your lavender and your lemon because those are powerhouses and you've used them for lots of different things. But you guys, lemongrass is the same way. Lemongrass, I'm just going to pull it up here too so you guys can see it. But lemongrass here, these are just common uses for lemongrass.
Yes.
I mean, come on, you guys. This is a powerhouse. I'm going to tell you a couple of ways that I've used this. I like to use lemongrass for my pain balm. So anytime we're dealing with pain in our house that I know like this is going to hurt later big time, or we're going to need to like get over this, or after Jim and I both had oral surgery, and we didn't want to take pain meds, we were able to use this along with frankincense and marjoram and copaiba in a capsule and take it every 2 to 4 hours, and it is amazing. Totally pain-free. That's one of my favorite ways to use it. But also, my lymphatic system is a little bit sluggish. I've had doctors tell me that before. And so I do a lot of dry brushing, which is kind of helpful. If you want to know more about dry brushing or your lymphatic system in general, just because I have a lot of experience with it, just put lymph system in there and I'll get with you and we'll talk through. I can share with you about dry brushing, but I use this with dry brushing because it helps your lymphatic system drain. So if you're having swollen lymph nodes or anything like that you need to help drain, this is a great oil to use. But now I don't have a dog, but I also saw that this is helpful for fleas for your dogs. So, so you can add this to like your doggy shampoo and use this on a regular basis to help with that. I love that. In fact, I think this is the blend is in the TerraShield blend, isn't it?
Because it's it is.
Insect repellent. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that it is. And I was just noticing, I was looking at the emotions book. One of the companion oils that goes really well with it is lemon myrtle.
Oh, that's good to know. Especially if you don't like the lemongrass aroma, but you want it, you know, you need to diffuse it for yourself. You could add the lemon myrtle and it may cut some of that aroma that you don't like.
Absolutely.
I like that. That's good to know. Well, then also, now, I don't know if we can say this on here, so I'll just talk about when your immune system is having wonky responses. When it's not doing, your immune system is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's like having some heightened responses. Lemongrass can be very helpful. Now, if you want to know more about that, look on your Modern Essentials app or look it up in the Essential Life book or in your Modern Essentials book. But you can use that to address that topically and aromatically. And my mom actually uses this oil to help improve her vision. This is very good for eye health. You guys, our oils are like immune system, eye health, fleas.
Oh, we haven't even gotten to the emotional part yet. We haven't even gotten.
No. So that's why I said this is like a dark horse. So if you want to know more about how my mom used it for her eye health, just post in the comments eye health and I'll share with you how she used that. But so many different ways that you can use this blend. And then Jennifer, why don't you, again, we're just scratching the surface, but Jennifer, why don't you share with us some of the emotional benefits of this oil?
Okay, this is so hard to do like in a quick way. So you guys, lemongrass is the oil of cleansing, okay? And it helps us to get rid of feelings, it says, of despondency, despair, and lethargy. So if you just feel like you can't even, lemongrass should be your go-to. It helps individuals that are entering a healing mode or a cleansing state, and it helps us to let go of old limiting beliefs, toxic energy, and negativity. Okay, so let's talk about energy here for a minute. When I first heard this, because I am a Christian, I heard this whole energy conversation and I was like, I don't think I'm okay with this, right? But here's what I believe. There are certain things that are absolutely true. Our emotions have energy tied to them, okay? And when we are in a place of funk, of just down on ourselves, the energy that we put out is not attractive, you guys. I hate to tell you this, but it's not pretty, okay? And so people don't want to be around you, right? When you are happy and content and confident and have abundance in your life, your energy is different and people are drawn to you, and people literally that you don't even know will be like, hey, you look like a really nice person. Let's chat, right? Like that's kind of the difference.
Yeah.
So what lemongrass does, number one, if you are having a conversation with someone who is a skeptic and you're going into this conversation, you know it's going to be a challenging conversation, this can help put the skeptic at ease. Okay, so there's that. But then at the same time, it helps us to let go of the things that hold us back, of limiting beliefs, of the things that make us function in this low energy space where we don't want to be around anybody else and nobody else wants to be around us. It's also really great in your house, in your office space. So think about it for a minute. Like I'm in pretty small quarters. You're definitely in small quarters, right? And so our space has to be multi-purpose. So I am in the process of setting up my new dedicated home office space, which is going to be in the corner of my bedroom, right? And I've always felt really funny about having my office in my bedroom because my bedroom is a place that I feel like is a retreat. It's for sleep. I don't have a TV in my room. I haven't had a TV in my room in years. Like it's my sanctuary, right? And I was like, how do I feel about this? So you better believe that lemongrass is going to be going in here on a regular basis, because when I go to sleep at night, I don't want all of whatever happened throughout the day hanging out in my sleeping space, right? So lemongrass is going to be one, probably with lemon myrtle, since we know that they pair well. But yeah, so it's really any kind of, if you're in despair, if you're holding on to the past and you can't let go of it, lemongrass is your go-to.
Yes. Yes. Now, if you're just joining us, you're definitely going to want to go back to the beginning where I shared the 2 diffuser blends for you with some of these oils. And I definitely want to hear your feedback on what your thoughts are on that new anthropology blend that I shared with you. But you're going to want to stay with us next week because Melissa will be back with us next week. And next week, we're going to be talking about setting up boundaries in life. And getting some of the foundation pieces together. And we're going to be talking about, for those of you who are like, I need a sedative. Okay.
I need help.
I need a sedative. Or maybe you just need a new perfume. Okay. And so much more. So join us next week for Sunday Night Live. And I think we have less oils to go over next week. So maybe we won't go as long, but
I definitely think we have less oils to go over next week. Tonight was just kind of a long one, and we're sorry, but we want you to have good information and be able to know just how vast the opportunities are with these oils and how many things they can do.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye, everybody.